Robert Dakota, Worldviews Media. We're here in Canyon de Chelly with Gary David and Bertram Savadawa. And maybe you guys could just give an introduction of where we are and what we're going to see on this trip. And you could start, Bertram, since you're closest to the mic.
Okay, yeah. Again, my name is Bertram Savadawa. I'm a Hopi from the Third Mesa village of Olderaibi, a member of the Corn Clan. And what I understand of our teachings and histories of this area now known as Canyon de Chelly, our Hopi place name would refer to it as Turkey Cliffs, with the pronunciation of Goyong Tumka. And a lot of the ancestral histories were part of utilizing the area in agriculture, but there is some of the histories that mentions that ancestors were running away from giant figures, which became the modern ogres in our culture. There is the confirmation of this area known as Turkey Cliffs, where one of the sites is known as Three Turkey Ruin. And all of these ancestral sites, of even consisting with pictographs of the clay paintings or the rock symbols of petroglyphs, is really confirming of a lot of the clan histories that we have in the oral teachings in our culture of the Hopi. And so a lot of the masonry architecture is just resembling and remnant like house units found in our villages, the utilization of underground ceremonial chambers of the kivas, which would have been the understandings, the spin-off from the ancestral pit houses, would be the nowadays kivas that we have in our Pueblo people's cultures and the Hopi. And so we have a lot of that oral history connections to this area, and this would be like my own modern day pilgrimage to come to this area to join in with the other individuals that have come along.
My name is Gary David. I'm an author and a traveler around the Southwest. And behind me is White House Ruin, and it's been a tree ring dated to about 1050 AD. So a lot of the masonry that you see is something that we'll see later on in our tour in Chaco Canyon. This same kind of very fine masonry that's done. There are about 60 rooms that were on the bottom level here, but a lot of them have been washed away, and then another 30 or so were up on the top. And it's called White House Ruin because up on the top you can barely see from this angle, but there's been gypsum overlaid on the facade of the upper building there. So it's, as I said, the mid-11th century this was built. But the native people lived here from very early times, maybe 500 AD at least, up until about 1300 when the whole canyon was abandoned. So this is a gorgeous canyon that we're experiencing today, and it's a phenomenal cliffs rising up hundreds of feet. So it's just a very relaxing place to be. If you get a chance to take a Jeep tour down into the canyon, it's well worth the time. Yeah, tomorrow on the summer solstice, June 21st, we'll be going to Chaco Canyon and spending all day in Chaco. And there's a major solstice event at Casa Rinconada, one of the great kivas in the area at Chaco Canyon. And there are many Pueblo ruins, about a dozen Pueblo ruins, huge palaces out in the desert made of stone. So we're going to experience that all day long tomorrow. The following day we're going up to Aztec Ruins, where we can see a restored great kiva amongst the ruins up there. And we're going to end our tour at Rock Art Ranch. Many petroglyphs in Chevelon Canyon, and it's an amazing canyon in itself. Many petroglyphs there and rock art, and on a working ranch. So we're looking forward to that.
And surprisingly, which I think we will find here, and I have already read, at least in the work that Graham did, with the Hopis, for example, that we'll find the same ideologies, we'll find the same belief systems linked to this Orion constellation. There is something there. The question is whether it is pure ideologies based on superstition, or whether there is something to do with the way that they were able to communicate and get knowledge that has something more substantial, that there is a real connection with these stars, that there is some communication that took place. I'm convinced that the ancients were able to exploit or utilize or prime or tune, use the word you like, their minds into a different way of communicating, not just with themselves, but perhaps with the cosmos. At least that's what they tell us. We find this in all ancient texts. And perhaps they knew something that, that we are trying to discover through science. Perhaps they were able to access it with their own mind. So that is my main interest in all this.